Welcome back to Normal Baseball. Elly De La Cruz hit for the cycle this weekend. The Cubs and Cardinals played in London. The Mets shit the bed in Philly. There was a big situation in the Dodgers-Astros series. We're here to talk about all of that and more. Welcome back to Normal Baseball. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And we're back. We're back to normal for now. I'm very excited. We had a fun weekend of some baseball games, yes, as always. And like I said, we're going to talk about it. Where I think we should start is the Cubs and Cardinals played in London this weekend.
Yeah.
The second ever London series from MLB. And I'd say it was an overwhelming success.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It definitely lived up to the hype of what the London series was, especially from 2019. You got another historic rivalry in the Cubs and Cardinals. Of course, both teams not having the season that they expected to be having.
Not at all.
As of right now. But it was still a great series. I think that there are some guys who actually would never want to leave London.
Well, I don't think I would agree with that.
There are some guys who don't want to ever leave London.
Well, one guy who has played in both London series is Mike Tauchman. I think he's the only person to be playing in both London series.
Yeah, only player.
But, this was a fun series. They split the series. It was only 2 games, Saturday, Sunday. And they split the series. Cardinals won 1, Cubs won 1. The Cubs won the first one. They won it pretty convincingly. It was 9-1. 9-1. Ian Happ had 2 solo homers. Dansby Swanson had a 2-run homer. Justin Steele had a really, really good outing for the Cubs. So it was all looking pretty good for the Cubs. And then they came out in Game 2, and they took an early 4-0 lead. It felt like, they're about to win this game again. I think it was 5-0 lead, actually. And it just felt bad for the Cardinals. But they came back, and they wound up winning it 7-5. Some clutch hits. A lot of offense in these London series.
4-0 lead.
That we've seen. Cubs-Cardinals split the game, split the series at 1 in London.
Yeah. Sadly, I believe it was Jack Flaherty who was supposed to get the start, but he got scratched for... I don't remember reading as to why he got the scratch.
I knew what it was. I don't remember anymore, but I do. Yeah, he did get scratched from his start, late scratch. Yeah. Matthew Liberatore started that game instead, and didn't go the Cardinals' way at first, but their offense finally mustered up some wins, or some offense, just in general, to help them win. So that's good. That's good for them. What did you think about the London series? Like, what are your thoughts?
It was fun.
Did you watch it a lot?
I did. The new dimensions were interesting of the stadium, that is. And I think moving forward, I believe it's next year they announced it's going to be Phillies Mets playing in the London series. Yep. That if 2 teams like the Cardinals and Cubs went in, who I don't think we can consider home run hitting teams, like they'll beat you with singles more than they'll beat you with home runs. So far this season, not historically, but this season, you're going to bring in the powerhouse Phillies lineup against the very, very good on paper Mets lineup for next season. So I am all in on the London series. I really want to eventually make it out there for a game.
Me too. Looking at this series and how many people were in the stadium, considering, London isn't a big baseball place.
55,000 fans.
Yeah, London Stadium was pretty full. And considering, like I said, this isn't a big baseball country. London's not a big baseball country. Or rather, the UK, whatever the country is. England. It was pretty good, and it was pretty fun to see. I know they only play 2 games there a year, so that could help it. But it was just really encouraging to see how many people in another country would want to go see a baseball game.
Yeah.
And they saw 2 pretty good games. They saw a blowout, and then they saw a comeback win.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's very funny. The second game was, 10 o'clock in the morning here. It was kind of bizarre.
Yeah, it felt weird to basically wake up and have baseball already be going.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. Well, do you have anything else about the London series?
No, that's really it. Obviously, Jack Flaherty, get well soon. And, okay. Let's go baseball in London.
Let's go baseball in London. Yeah, the scoring in the game, too, was actually pretty funny. Cubs scored 4 in the first. Then the Cardinals scored all 7 of their runs in the second, third, fourth, and fifth. 3 runs, 1 run, 2 run, 1 run. So they were like 4-0? Nah, I don't think so. and they just came right back, which is good. These teams in the standings doesn't really change much. The Cubs are 3 games back now, I will say. They've been playing a lot better as of late, but they're still 2 games under 500. Obviously, you have the surging Reds ahead of them as well, who we'll talk about in a little bit. And the Cardinals still sitting bottom of the barrel, 8.5 games back, not feeling too good. So, yeah.
What a shame.
The London series. Round of applause. You were talking about next year for the London series, Mets versus Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Mets and the Phillies played this weekend, actually, and it was one hell of a series, to say the very least. The Mets won game 1, kind of convincingly.
They lost game 1.
No, did they?
Yes, they lost.
Oh, my fault. They lost game 1. Then that means they won game 2.
Yes.
That's my fault. They won game 2. And then game 3 was the big game. Rubber match in the series. 1-1. The Mets have a, 3-run lead going into the bottom of the 9th inning. Or was it bottom of the 8th inning? And they completely exploded.
They metted.
Mets metted. They were like, never mind. Maybe too soon for that joke. But they just imploded. It was crazy.
It was embarrassing.
I've been seeing a lot of Mets fans, who are obviously very upset, and as they should be. I'd be pretty upset too, because the Mets are up. So at that point, it was 6-3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. It was 6-3 in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Yeah.
And 3-run lead, yes, but then they bring in some of their worst relievers. And it just doesn't make any sense as to why they would do that. Not only that, but the Phillies didn't even win this game. The Mets lost.
Yeah.
The Mets beat themselves.
Well said.
The Phillies, what was it? Hit by pitch, walk. Like, the Phillies, let me pull up the summary for that inning, because the Phillies, I don't think, actually did anything in the bottom of the 8th to score themselves runs. It was just the Mets, basically.
There was one single, I believe.
Yeah, it was a Bryce Harper walk, the Josh Walker pitching. So, like, you kidding me? Josh Walker pitching in a real game that you have to win. Bryce Harper walked. JT Realmuto single. So that was the only hit in the inning, I think. Bryson Stott walked. So at that point, bases loaded. Then there was a fielder's choice, which made it 6-4. A walk made it 6-5. A hit by pitch made it 6-6. And then a second hit by pitch. 2 batters, 2 hit by pitches made it 7-6. And the Phillies went on to win the game 7-6.
Yeah.
It was crazy and deflating for the Mets. Deflating.
Totally.
This Mets team, every time you think, hey, wow, they come into Philly, or, they're going to win this series, they're going to have a decent weekend, they're going to, start to pull together some wins, they just find a way to lose. And it's been the story of this season, and it sucks for them.
Yeah, it's the Miracle Mets.
For a team that was supposed to be really, really good.
Mm-hmm. It's a disappointment. However, the Phillies, I think everyone in Philadelphia, every Phillies fan on the planet knows that they got away with a win there.
Win's a win.
Stole one. They completely stole one. The Mets had that entirely locked up, barring, of course, they bring in guys like, I believe it's like Dominic Leone.
No, they brought in...
Dominic Leone, Grant Hartwig,
Leone
Josh
was fine.
Walker, Jeff Brigham. Like, just these guys who they turn to time and time again, who don't provide value out of the bullpen.
Well, Leone was fine. Hartwig was fine. He pitched 2 scoreless innings. It was really Walker.
Yeah.
Walker and then Brigham.
Yeah.
Brigham hit 2 batters in a row and gave up the lead. Like, how are you going to do that? I think
that's
almost hard to do.
It was impressively stupid.
And I know a lot of people who are getting mad at Buck Showalter for bringing these guys in a 6-3 game, in a game that you really needed to win against the Phillies. And they did use their bullpen in the first or second game, rather, didn't they? They used Robertson for 2 innings in the first game.
Yeah, that
or second game.
Last game.
Was it the first game? Yeah, it was the first game, I think.
No, second game they used him for an inning and 2/3.
Yes.
And they also used Adam there, the lead go, for 2/3 of an inning. So I don't know why they didn't turn to, or even Brooks Raley. Like they just didn't make the right moves. It's weird because usually, like, I think it's very fair to say that the Mets bullpen has been disappointing this season.
Oh yeah.
Especially without having that dominant closer of Edwin Diaz, it's impossible to really figure it out when the drop off between Edwin Diaz and the rest of your bullpen has that gap. I think that Buck Showalter made the wrong choice, made the wrong decision to go to the wrong guys, especially when you know that you kind of need to get some wins now, because the season we're approaching the All-Star break.
Oh yeah.
We're approaching that halfway point, and you really don't want to be at the point of no return where you have to shut down guys because you know you're not going to win anything. And I don't think that's where the Mets want to go. That's not where Steve
they're not going to
envisions.
shut down guys. They're not going to shut down guys. What do you mean by shut down guys?
Like, if they fall out of playoff contention.
Just stop playing them?
Yeah.
I don't
Not every day, but stop playing them every day.
Oh, okay.
You know, and you bring in these guys who obviously hold no value in the bullpen and can't help, like Josh Walker and Jeff Brigham, who have been the story, honestly, all season. Whenever you hear about the Mets losing, it's either Dominic Leone, Josh Walker, Jeff Brigham, or Adam Ottavino are the ones who lose it for them in the past couple seasons. So there's got to be something to figure out in Metland. There has to be.
I don't think there is anything to figure out anymore. Who would they get back? Who's injured right now? Quintana. I know he's about to make a rehab start.
He's not going to do anything for that team.
And then, they have a lot of bullpen guys injured, but the only real big one is Edwin Diaz.
Yeah.
It's like, what needs to change with this team? Because I legitimately don't know. Like, this should be a good team. They just are all not playing to how they should be playing. Not to mention, their starting pitching has also been horrible in addition to their bullpen. Because their starting pitching, I believe they only have 5 wins in the month of June from their starting pitching.
Really?
Like, their starting pitchers only have 5 wins, and I think 3 of them are Max Scherzer. So, like, when you're dealing with stuff like that, your starters not being able to go long, not having leads, you're not going to win games. You're not going to win games. I'm sorry.
Completely agree with you. I'm looking through right now, trying to see if there's any name in, like, AAA that they could even call up just to get outs, and it really doesn't look like it, which is disappointing to say the least. They are really... The Mets are in a tough spot when it comes to pitching. Their offense should be better, and it's not. Just a season that they want to forget, if I had to assume.
So far, yeah. As for the Phillies, they're 3 games over 500 now. Not bad. They're 10 games back in the division, but the Braves don't really have signs of slowing down at all. But they're 3 games back in the wild card, so they're going to, chase that wild card like they did last year. That's what they're good at. And they've been playing pretty decent recently. Trey Turner's been kind of playing better, too.
Yeah.
It's been looking pretty good in Philly land the last few weeks. So we'll see what they can do. I'm excited to continue to watch them, obviously.
Of course.
And, Mets-Phillies. It was
Mets-Phillies.
Odd series.
Certainly was.
Well, I want to go to another series that had an NL East team in it that I enjoyed thoroughly. And it was Reds versus Braves. We talked about it on Friday. The Reds came into the series with an 11-game win streak. The Braves came into the series with an 8-game win streak. Who's going to lose their win streak was obviously the biggest question. And the answer turned out to be the Braves. In what was probably one of my favorite games this entire season, the Reds came back from down 5-0 to beat the Braves 10-11 in Game 1 of the series. They made their win streak 12 wins in a row. And Elly De La Cruz hit for the cycle in this game. Yes, hit for the cycle. This was, to this point, his 15th career game. And he hit for the cycle. unheard of, absolutely incredible. I love Elly De La Cruz.
Oh, yeah.
I love that man.
Now, who are you picking?
O'Neal.
Him or O'Neal?
O'Neal.
Okay.
But I do love Elly De La Cruz.
All right, I completely agree with you. Like I said before, he, I believe, even played his first major league game. The Big Red Machine is back. You know, they are this lineup. Yes, you don't recognize the names now. In 5 years, you could be talking about how this is one of the greater teams that have been assembled, especially in the National League Central.
Yeah,
This team is amazing. This team is electric, and bringing that guy of Elly De La Cruz into this lineup, who adds this amazing factor to it, is exactly what this team needed, exactly what this team got. I mean, hitting for the cycle that early in your career is absurd. It feels like you blink and he can go from home to third. I would love to see how many triples and inside the park home runs he gets playing in Great American Ballpark throughout his entire career.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see. He has been nothing short of incredible. And I believe he was the first Red to hit for the cycle since 1989. Mm-hmm. And the youngest player since 1972. People forget, this guy's 21 years old. This guy is young. My question is he obviously hitting for the cycle? Right now he's hitting .333 with almost close to 900 OPS.
989 OPS.
Oh, close to 1,000 OPS, my fault. Is Elly De La Cruz the most exciting player in baseball right now?
Yes. And I don't think that it should be that much of a choice, like a discussion. He is 110% the most exciting player in baseball, just for the pure factor of, like, usually when you see a tall, big guy come up and make his major league debut, you're like, oh, he's a power hitter, which Elly De La Cruz is. But then you see him trot out and you see him running towards that left side of the field, and you're like, oh, yeah, he plays left field. They hide him away. No, he's standing at third base.
Yeah.
You know, and he has a cannon of an arm. He's a freak of nature.
Shortstop.
Yeah, shortstop and third base. He plays
depends.
both. And he's playing both of these positions. He has an amazing arm. His sprint speed is through the charts. He's the fastest player in baseball. He's racked up almost... He's at .7 B-WAR right now in 15 games.
Well, 17 now, but yeah.
17 games. You are talking about a guy who, if he stays on track, could literally set records throughout all of Major League Baseball for just how talented he is and how much potential he has to succeed at the Major League level.
Yeah, he's at a .9 B-WAR right now.
Yeah.
Or rather F-WAR.
It's something
Incredible.
else, man.
I would like to see the strikeout percentage get a little lower, but when he puts the ball in play, he's getting hits.
Yeah.
And he's getting big hits. And like you were saying before, with this Reds team in general, it's not just Elly De La Cruz who is doing this stuff and amazing everyone. Their entire lineup is going absolutely buck wild so far this season. Joey Votto just came back, and he's been extremely good. Matt McClain, yesterday Matt McClain had 3 doubles and a home run. 3 doubles and a home run in one game. He's batting
first base.
He's batting .325. He's batting .325. It's incredible what he's doing. TJ Friedel has been amazing too. Jonathan India's back. That's all that really has to be said there. Spencer Steer has been one of the more exciting rookies in baseball this year. What I was thinking to myself this weekend watching these games, yes, the Reds did go on to lose this series. They lost the second 2 games, so their win streak is over. There is no one on this team that I don't like. There is no one on this team where they will come up to the plate and I'll be like, oh, I really don't feel like watching this guy hit. Mm-hmm. I'm down to watch anyone on this team hit. It's just, they have so much fun. They're so exciting. They get it done when it matters. It just makes it's just amazing. It's amazing. That's the only way to put it.
I agree.
So, in conclusion, I love this Reds team with my entire heart. They are truly America's team. They're 41-37 right now. They're first in the NL Central only by half a game, but half a game is half a game.
Yeah.
And all is looking good in Redland.
Yeah, let's go Reds. Big Red Machine, they're back. They're back.
They are back.
As I've said before, it's exciting to watch, and I really hope that we get to see them play some playoff baseball, because this season, the Reds had not had a sellout crowd, and it was, I believe, quite some time since they have, and they sold out all 3 games against the Braves. And it was amazing. Watching, like, the City Connect jerseys on, I believe it was, Saturday, or was it Friday?
Friday. It was the day Elly hit for the cycle.
Yeah, Friday night with the City Connect jerseys and just the game itself and the atmosphere. I'm watching on an iPad, and I feel like I'm sitting right behind home plate with the noise. Like, it was just amazing. Let's go Cincinnati. Let's go Reds.
Fair enough. I do want to say... Actually, never mind. I'm not going to say it.
Well, you have to.
Too late. Let's move on. I want to talk about one of the more funny series this weekend. Just funny in the, you'll see why I think it's pretty funny.
All right.
The Angels and the Rockies played each other this weekend. And the Rockies took 2 of 3 in this series.
It's true.
They took 2 of 3. But the Angels scored about 35 runs this series. And managed to lose the series. And the Rockies didn't even score that many runs.
Yeah.
Obviously, not a true stat. It's a true stat, but can be taken with a grain of salt, because the Angels scored 25 runs in Game 2. 25. They set a franchise record for runs and, margin of win with runs, because they won the game 25-1. And most of their runs were scored in the first half of the game. They scored 13 runs in the 3rd inning and 8 runs in the 4th inning. And I remember sitting there, and I'm looking, and I'm like, are the Angels about to put up, 50 runs in this game?
It would have been...
They could have. I mean, if they stayed on pace, they would have.
Yeah.
It was incredible what I was watching. I was like, what am I watching right now? And I wasn't actually watching the game, but I mean watching by getting notifications on my phone every 10 seconds about how the Angels scored 3 more runs, 2 more runs, 3 more runs, and I'm just sitting there like, what is going on? It was pretty funny, though. Shohei Ohtani was 1 for 7 in the game that they scored 25 runs, which isn't something you would expect.
Yeah.
Mike Trout was 3 for 3, so that's fun. Mike Trout's actually been really heating up recently. But again, the Angels did wind up losing the series, which I find pretty ironic.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty
definitely.
funny. And the Angels are not in a good place right now. They're 6 games back. They're starting to lose again, which is not what you want to see if you're an Angels fan. They're still 1 game back of the wild card, but again, the American League is tough. So hopefully the Angels can pick it up, especially because the Rockies, who they lost the series to, are the 2nd worst team in the National League. No, they are the worst team in the National League right now. So not a great team to lose a series to.
Are they? Yeah, they are. Wow.
They are by win percentage. Yeah.
Yeah, by win percentage they are. Yeah, that's it's a bad look for the Angels, of course. However, take it with a grain of salt. You put up 25 runs, and yes, that stat does look a little bizarre, but let's be completely real and honest here. The Rockies beat you twice. It's not like the Angels...
Right, so I wouldn't say don't worry. That's a worrying thing.
Right, but when you say that stat, it makes it seem like the Angels... obviously they didn't play to win. They didn't win. The Angels... I'm trying to say something, and I'm not figuring out the words.
I don't know what you're trying to say, because the Angels
I'm trying to say that
lost 2 of 3.
This makes sense. This makes sense, that the Angels dropped 2 of 3 to the best team in baseball, to one of the worst teams in baseball.
Why does it make sense, though?
Because it's the Angels.
Are they gearing up for their yearly collapse?
They might be.
I think a lot of their guys have been playing pretty decently recently.
I agree with you.
Decently recently.
But that's why I'm saying, kind of makes sense. Usually it's everyone's playing good. Okay, yeah, we can, let's make that push to the playoffs, and then.
Well, we'll see if the Angels' yearly collapse is here.
I'm not praying on it, but I'm saying that this has the mold for it.
It definitely does have the mold for it.
25 runs in a game, and then you lose the rubber match. Bad luck.
Lose the series.
Yeah, lose the series.
All right, well, moving on. The team that's ahead of the Angels right now is the Houston Astros. And the Astros just played the Dodgers. That was quite the series. The Astros went to LA, to Hollywood, and they actually lost 2 of 3.
Yeah, they avoided the sweep on the last day.
They avoided the sweep on the last day. They should have had the second game of the series, so they should have won this series. However, Ryan Stanek loses the series for the Astros, blaming it all on him, of course. The Astros and Dodgers, the Astros blew a lead. They had a 7-5 lead or something in the 8th inning of Game 2. And Ryan Stanek comes in. At this point, it's 7-7, so the Dodgers come back to tie it. Ryan Stanek comes in and balks in the go-ahead run, and the Astros go on to win 8-7. Did you see that play, Lewis?
So I did. I was watching it in real time. I actually have the video pulled up here because I'm rewatching it.
It was a balk.
Because it's a balk, yes. Blown away that the umpires were so quick to jump on it. Usually it's like, oh, did he
No,
it's always very. It's sometimes even the pitch is thrown before the balk is called. It was so crazy to me, and the reaction, obviously, of course, I believe the game was on Fox, so they gave us all the worst camera angles that you could possibly imagine. But all in all, blown away at how quick they called it. That's what I was most surprised about.
I'm not really surprised about.
They jumped on it. There wasn't any hesitation to see, is he still just getting set?
No, he was set. He stopped.
Right.
So what happened was Stanek 3-2 pitch to Miguel Rojas. Stanek stops. He's ready. He's about to throw the pitch, and then he moves his back leg ever so slightly, and then steps off the rubber. But since him moving his leg the first time and him stepping off the rubber were 2 different motions, it's a balk because he wasn't just stepping off the rubber. He moved his leg, and he definitely was like, "Oh shit, I just moved my leg. Let me step off the rubber to make it look like I was stepping off the rubber. Hopefully they don't catch it."
That's exactly
they caught
what my thought was.
They caught it, and he was pissed.
Oh yeah,
he got
knew.
Ejected from the
game.
You can't tell me he. And I hope that he went back into the dugout or into the locker room after he got ejected
and saw it
and looked at it and was like, "Oh, well, I did balk." It was hilarious because it was such a blatant balk. And yeah, the Dodgers went on to win the game. It was a big situation because then he struck out the next batter, ended the inning, and immediately just turned around and started screaming at the second base umpire because he was the one who called the balk. It was kind of hilarious if I'm being honest. And then Dusty Baker got ejected too, and it was a whole big thing. And obviously, the Dodgers went on to win this game as well. So.
Yeah, a lot of dramatic outcomes of one simple play when usually you're talking about 2 of the teams that have historically been very, very good in the Astros and Dodgers. And the most exciting part of the series was a balk from a reliever that wound up losing the Astros the game and the series. So that's where I agree with you that it was a balk. Just blown away at the sequence of how the balk was called. I could not believe it.
Fair enough. Yeah. Astros-Dodgers. Hopefully... I don't know. Hopefully nothing. It was a fun series. I had a good time watching all these games. Game 3 was pretty close too. It was pretty fun to watch. Astros just won that out 6-5. All 3 of these games were 1 run within each other. So Astros Dodgers having similar seasons this year. They're not fully in the bin. They're still well within reach of their divisions, but not the seasons they expected so far. Especially the Astros coming off a World Series victory. But this was a really, really good series.
Totally.
What else we got? I want to talk about the Padres pitcher. Can we talk about the Padres pitcher real quick?
Of course.
Matt Waldron of the San Diego Padres throws a knuckleball.
He does.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So Saturday he started for the Padres, and he is a knuckleball thrower. The reason he started was because they were giving Michael Wacha extra rest because he's just been so good so far this season. They're just giving him another rest start. Yeah. So they call this guy up. He's already back down now, but that's besides the point. And he starts throwing these knuckleballs, and it became a big thing for everyone. This is the first pitcher to throw a knuckleball since Mickey Janis in 2021. Love Mickey Janis.
Mets legend.
Mets
Mickey Janis.
legend. His one career game. But, yeah, threw a knuckleball. It was in the mid-70s to mid-80s. And
Which
it
is
was
crazy for a knuckleball.
crazy to see a knuckleball pitcher. I agree. He threw 13 of them. He pitched 4 2/3 innings. He actually pitched really well, only gave up 2 earned runs. But the Padres literally couldn't score, and they lost 2-0.
Yeah.
Which just, if anything, tells you about the Padres season so far, that it's what I just said. You know, their pitcher was starting pitcher, rookie, first start was really good. 2 runs only, but they lose 2-0.
Typical.
So, typical Padres for this season. I just wanted to highlight Matt Waldron a little bit because it is very impressive.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. So, good for him. Matt Waldron.
Matt Waldron
What
and the Padres just sucks. I did have Michael Walker going in one of my fantasy leagues to try to win me the game, and they wound up not pitching him, and I wound up losing by a few points, which sucked. But all in all, I think that's the best way to sum up the Padres season. Like you just said, good start from a pitcher where it's a very winnable game against a very beatable team in the Nationals, and they can't score a run to save their life.
Yeah.
Which sucked.
I just want to say, do you have any other big things you want to talk about? I want to say the team that you're wearing right now, the Orioles,
Yeah, baby.
just played the Mariners this weekend, and
Fun
I honestly,
series.
I was about to say it was a very, very fun series. The Orioles took 2 of 3, but a lot of fun.
Julio robbed a homer, which was electric, and then
Julio robbed the homer,
the
and then
next
Anthony
day-
Santander,
Yeah.
and Santander then hit a homer. It was a fun series.
Yeah,
If you didn't see anything about the Orioles and the Mariners, we suggest you go, maybe watch some game highlights because they were some fun games. Ryan McKenna hit a walk-off 2-run bomb.
yeah, it's like whoa.
It was fun. It was a really, really fun series.
Yeah, and guess what? Now we get to go see the Baltimore Orioles play the Cincinnati Reds.
Series.
I need at least I believe they play 3 games. Let me double check before I talk out of my ass. Hang on. I'm checking. Yes, they play 3 games. I need at least 100 runs scored in 3 games.
100 runs.
Combined for both teams. Let's be real. If any 2 teams can do it, it would be the young and exciting teams that obviously don't have a leg to stand on really when it comes to pitching. But if you're talking about offense, boy, do they got offense. I mean, you're looking at a great lineup on the O side, a great lineup on the Red side. They're playing, I believe, in Camden Yards. So
They are.
we'll see how that goes. Wish it was
Gonna
in
be a
Great
fun series.
American, but it will be a great series. I will be watching it.
All right, nice. I just want to mention a couple more things before we get to our weekly ding-dongs. In addition to the O's and Mariners being a good series, just a couple other good series that we saw. The Marlins took 3 of 4 from the Pirates. The Marlins have been on a very good streak as of late. They're 45 and 34. Still 6 games back because the Braves don't seem to be slowing down. The Diamondbacks lost 2 of 3 to the Giants. The Giants are now 2.5 games back out of first place. Dodgers are 3 games back, so the NL West is getting pretty exciting, pretty close. And that's all I really wanted to highlight. And I think we're ready for the weekly ding-dongs, aren't we?
I believe I am ready. I know that.
All right, weekly ding-dongs. Ready. So, this last week, weekly ding-dongs, Lewis went in with 19 points, and I went in with 23 points. Lewis, do you want to give us your players and what they did?
I took Vladimir Guerrero Jr. of the Toronto Blue Jays and Michael Conforto of the San Francisco Giants. Vladdy hit 2 bombs in the Rogers Center
On the weekend.
I said he was due.
But you didn't get the timeline. We were supposed to do this on Thursday. So if Thursday came, he would have had none.
Yeah.
Go on.
But he wound up hitting 2 bombs. My score is now up to 21. Sorry.
21, yeah. So I had Giancarlo Stanton, who did nothing, and Ronald Acuna Jr., who had 1 homer. So my total goes up from 22 to 23, and I am ready to let you pick.
Oh, you're going to let me go first. Okay.
You know, you could take 2 if you want. For all I care.
I'll be respectful. I'm going to start out in the American League. I'm going with Corey Seager of the Texas Rangers.
Like it.
Yep. No question about it. I believe. Let me just double check because I did check what team the Texas Rangers were playing. Let me just double check that I'm getting this right. Yeah, they play the Tigers. So, Corey, tee off, please.
All right, so you're picking Corey Seager in the AL.
I am.
Okay, so for my NL pick, just so that you don't steal my guy, I don't know. I've been up in the air.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm gonna do it because I might as well. He's been really good this season. I'm going with Corbin Carroll of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
It's a great pick.
This week they play the Rays, so I'm actually pretty confident. I think that's gonna be fun. Next weekend also, they play. Who do they play next weekend? The Angels. I like it. I like Corbin Carroll. He's a fun guy, so I'm picking Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, now where are you going for your AL pick?
I'll let you go.
All right. For my National League pick, I'm going with Mookie Betts, the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're playing in Colorado this week.
Okay.
And then they go to Kansas City. So, two teams that don't have great pitching staffs, and I believe if anyone's going to take advantage of it, it will be Mookie Betts. Especially in that thin Colorado air.
I like it.
Yeah.
So, for my AL pick, I'm going to go with the guy who has been hitting a good amount of homers as of late. I'm going to go with Mike Trout of the Los Angeles Angels. He's he's been on a tear recently, so I'm liking Mike Trout. And they play the White Sox this week and in Anaheim. And then this weekend they play the Diamondbacks. So I'm going to be watching Diamondbacks Angels this weekend thinking need some homers from my boys. So
yeah, of course.
Homer draft.
Homer draft.
Round of applause for the Homer draft.
Well done.
Do you have anything else?
That's really it. Go O's.
Go O's.
No other way to say it. Go Reds. I need 100 or more runs scored in the 3-game set that you two are playing. Go crazy. And White Sox, sell the team. So, just trade everyone, please.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much.
That's interesting. All right. Well, we thank you guys for watching, listening, viewing. If you liked, make sure you leave a like and a comment. Let us know what you thought about what we talked about and what you think we should talk about tomorrow. And we will see you guys in the next one. A peace. That's what I'm saying!